Hello, welcome back. Art of Cycling, I'm Greg Leach. Trying a slightly different angle here. Don't know if it's, let me know what you think. Multitude of reasons why I had to change places here, but you don't need to know all those ins and outs. But we're on to the seventh stage of the women's race, the Tour de France Femmes. So we're getting close to wrapping up, which is stunning, disappointing, exciting, and get back to my normal daily life. So we're doing a piece right at the top of the King of the Mountains. Excuse me, Queen of the Mountains. Obviously. With the peloton of women. Can't very well be celebrating the King of the Mountains, right? Jersey's the same. Sponsor's the same. Name is a little different. But I thought it'd also be fun to show some of the fans, particularly the little young ones, sitting on Dad's shoulders. I do get amused. I've frequently seen kids clearly out with Dad for the day. Mom nowhere to be seen. It's like, no, why don't you take them? You can go show them the race. I'll stay home. But then our heroine of yesterday, Squeeben, Maeva Squeeben, hero of the French too, who went over the final climb and flew down the other side to the finish. It's just taking them over the first climb of the day too. So apparently she's not done yet. And that is one of the things when somebody goes on a early break or a breakaway the next day, they frequently are toast. One of the reasons why most people get a King of the Mountains or Queen of the Mountains jersey by going on the lone breakaway and earning a lot of points, sucking up all the points on all the climbs. But the next day they're out the back because they went too deep, didn't recover well enough. Clearly not the case for Maeva. She's being followed by one of the Lidl Trek riders, who I was a little surprised. Till yesterday I had not painted any of them, just their team car in one painting. I guess they got the memo, and now they're all making sure I see them. That is fun. This rider right here, Chloe Dygert. I had no idea she actually had some of my artwork. She raced here in Richmond, where I'm based out of. Not from here, but I've been here a good long time. And the World Championships were here way back in 2015. She raced those. Don't remember how she did, but she bought one of the pieces I did because I actually painted that race live on site, which worked out really well. It's a great deal of fun, high pressure, but I'm okay with that. I've talked about the one time I painted the symphony and Came all prepared to have like 2.5 hours. And they said, oh, no, 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 it's an hour long. So I'm used to going, okay, here we go. We're going to paint fast. That was the first year that Sagan won, or the year that he won the first of his 3 consecutive rainbow jerseys, the only man to do that. And yes, you can read between the lines correctly. A woman had done it before that. That needed some pointing out on a regular basis to a lot of commentators. He's the first person to ever do it. No, no. The first person of the male gender to ever do it. That happens a lot in women's cycling. And it is nice now. It's getting a little more parity in the sport. Don't know if you can hear her, but our granddaughter is back from visiting her other grandparents in Colorado, having a big old time with her granny downstairs. Both are very happy to see each other again. So still trying to get this all drawn in. Sorry, it takes a little time and it takes a little longer when I'm talking to you all. I like to say it takes about 15 minutes to paint these. And people gotta go 15 minutes, and I'm also like, well, it may take 15 minutes, but it takes a lifetime to know how to use those 15 minutes. I kind of like that retort. So now we'll work in some of the fans on the other side of the road. So clearly this comes up and makes a curve, so these guys are on one side. I can't see because this is a camper van's roof right here. So now we're just going to draw these guys. It's not all guys, but yeah, no, there's the first woman. And that's another thing about cycling fans. It seems to draw all genders, all ages. Clearly, we got grandpas on this side and young fans on this side. I never finished drawing this guy. Getting his picture. Oh, now I got the dogs jumping in on the party too. And again, that's the thing about cycling. Also, is you can get this close to your heroes. All for the steep, exorbitant price of hanging out on the side of the road all day. I mean, at the finishes, there are VIP stay at places where you do pay to get the TV screen and all that kind of stuff, catering, bar. But in general, I got a little confused there. It's all free. Just show up, bring a picnic maybe, ride your bike up the mountain, so you can experience what you're about to watch. All right. So now we switch to color. And I thought I moved the camera to the other side, thinking perhaps my hand was hiding things. And this way you can also see the mixing going on and my ongoing mistakes. Because that's a equally important part of making watercolors, creating watercolors, is the mixing of the paint. Okay. I think I picked up too much water. So that's my quote-unquote flesh tone. Of course, the other thing a lot of cyclists pay, cycling fans pay, is a pretty serious sunburn if they're not prepared. So a lot of the climbs, the road gets closed off pretty early in the morning. So if you want to drive up there, which might mean you're going to be up there a long, long time. But because getting back off the mountain with thousands of people can take a long time to get down again. So a lot of people will either ride up or walk up, which means that's a good, healthy hike, literally and figuratively. So it's quite an investment of time and effort. And of course, on a climb, the Peloton is moving considerably slower. Like, I'm always amazed with people who set up and watch on the downhill. It's like, there they went, zoom. So they fly off these mountains. So continuing to move my way through the palette, through the color wheel. So I got a little something on my brush. I don't know when I'm going in here to finish painting things and see what I missed. And of course, because it's the Queen of the Mountains point, the sponsor, Leclerc, has their logo and name strewn along the top And those placards are topped with the polka dots of the Queen of the Mountains. Of course, there's also signboards. And I believe they've been the sponsor of this particular jersey for a very long time. I know I've talked about it before, but I do have the only commemorative jersey that I have is theirs. And they were the sponsor back in 2001. Of course, those pauses you're seeing me do are a little bit of looking around and seeing what I need to do next. Painting is not even equal parts. Mainly looking and re-looking and re-looking and re-looking, and then painting and then re-looking ad nauseum. Because it's really an observational thing. Whenever I travel, I always take paints. Actually, at the brilliant idea of my wife, we started selling watercolors. But it came from an idea from Rick Steves, who has a great series on television. I think he's mainly internet-based now, but Europe Through the Back Door. And one of his points, which is absolutely true, is if you just take a picture and you go somewhere and you just, you see it, snap a picture of it, you don't really even remember it, you don't observe it. But if you take the time to sit down, sketch it out, you'll notice much more clearly the idiosyncrasies of what you're looking at. One of the most prevalent of that is structures like Notre Dame, which most people think, those two towers are exactly the same. But actually, and it's not scriptural so much as mythological or superstitious, but the front of the church, the part that faces out to the world, is never perfect, because you don't want to show perfection to the world. That is reserved for the parishioners inside, which seems a little something or otherish. But that's the premise. So you don't really notice that when you see pictures, or when you, of course, take your own, you don't really notice that it's asymmetrical. Get this little blonde kid's hair. And it's always fun to think, and of course they're always, finding pictures of current Pro Tour riders, champions, posing with the cyclists that they admired when they were this age. And it's always a nice treat to see, and so as you watch this, like this little young girl, is this going to be the moment that turns her into a cyclist? abstract thought, I think the dad would be thrilled. Then you watch some of these ridiculous, frightening crashes that people have. Sorry, this dad has on, maybe it isn't a dad. Sure looks like it. But it has on a bright pink shirt. So you can see that I'm breaking my own rules here. Sit spin. I now know it's sit spin, which she told me that's from the ice skating move. So was asking about compositional rules, you know, the golden mean and rule of thirds. I forget what the other one was. My wife and granddaughter love to sing together too. And they both sing very well. Here, you enjoy that while I paint. Of course, when I have a crowd scene, remembering where I am and who's wearing what and that kind of thing can get a little tough. So that's part of the reason for bouncing back and forth here. Kid has khaki colored pants on, not a bare butt. Oops, I see a leg I missed. All right. Just so I figure out exactly where I am, I'm going to switch to my black. So again, it's this dark green and the same purple color I was just using, mixed together. I think we'll start here with the Belgian champion. Oh, I see another little spot of flesh I missed. And see, that's part of the reason for getting in here and getting some of this in. So I'm like, okay, what did I miss? I think I'll even go lay in some of this roadway. Help me again to see what I've missed. All right, now, Lidl Trek here, well, maybe a little darker than that, but both Lidl Trek and AE, UAE rather, have bluish black trunk shorts, cycling shorts. Go back in here and get Sarah Batiste. So I forgot that yellow. And actually that's about it. Whoops. All right, so we're getting into being done with this. Reminder that all of these are for sale. You can either go to my cycling blog, theartofcycling.blogspot.com, or to my website, gregleach.com. There's the spelling, or you can use that code if your camera will see it. Sadly, as of now, none of the women's art has sold. So let's get a little parody going here, folks. Sold about a third of the men's work. So therefore we should sell a third of the women's work too, right guys? Come on. But that will take you to the website where you can purchase the work securely. It is $99. And domestic or US shipping, so you know where I'm at, is included in that purchase price. And they are shipped USPS priority. In fact, I got a bunch to ship out today. And look, guys, can you figure out what I forgot to do? I did not title or sign and date. So, of course, we got to get back in there and do that. I also didn't get my little shadows to help pop those people wearing white. I did it on this guy, but let's give him a little pair of blue jeans down here under his shirt. Okay. So title. Just call it Up Close. Rabbit, rabbit, today's the first. So thank you all for watching. And again, we'd love to hear what you think of the piece, of the altered, that should be roadway. There we go. Altered camera position. Did I help you all see more of what's going on? And, you know, what do you think of the painting? What do you think of the women's race? What do you think of women's cycling? What do you think? Full stop. Thanks again. Oh, here, let's do this for you. Just because that angle is so obtuse. There's the piece. Thank you all.